You're listening to the Morning Punch-In Show with RB and Jae, live and direct from more cities than an Instagram model's bio. Get ready for some boxing talk on the clock. Let's face it, you're not working and somebody's got to pay for the Wi-Fi.
Good morning, everybody. It is RB and Jae. This is the Morning Punch-In Show. Sorry that we missed you guys last week. This is the most unpredictable, honest, unconventional, and authentic morning boxing talk show in the game. Today is Monday, March 27th. Our special guest today on Hotline Bling is no other than Roy Jones Jr. And we got Jake's Take today with boxing writer and reporter from FightNights.com, Jake Donovan. Let me properly introduce my partner in crime, the creator and founder of BadCulture.net and contributor for BlackSportsOnline.com, Jay LaBeouf. What's good, Jay?
Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. We're back at our home bases. I'm back in my beautiful hood of Inglewood, and RB's back in Phoenix, back in the warm sunshine. New York, you were great, but New York, you a hard town. With all that snow, you a hard town. So good morning, wherever you're listening in. We're glad you're back with us this Monday morning. Like RB said at the top of the show, we're joined today by Mr. Roy Jones Jr., so that's going to be a good time. But before we dive into the show, let me pose today's hot question. And this one's been burning up since RB put it out last night. With all the recent scoring debates, what changes would you like to see in the way that fights are scored? Please use the hashtag TMPS so we can read your answers during the show. Back to you, RB.
All right. A lot of people have been answering that question, and people feel really strongly about the scoring lately. And we're actually going to try to talk to Roy about that today with all the controversy that's been going on with scorecards. You know, are the judges getting it right? What needs to be done better? Are the fans just finicky and fickle? You know, do we just expect too much? So those are things that we really want to dive into today. Jay, while we're waiting for Jake Donovan, maybe you want to read one or two of the responses.
I would love to. Let's start with Jacob Martinez, our most recent one. Through and not know. Oh, okay. I think official scorecards should be revealed as the fight is happening. It's the only sport where you can be halfway through and not know if you're winning or not. Ooh, good point from Jacob Martinez, who's tuned into the show. Pugilistic Review says, move judges from ringside, view on monitor using replay as needed. If fights are scored on the four competencies, also set up a remedial training program for struggling judges and annual training for all judges. Good answer, and I always love the word remedial. And one more. Oh, go ahead, RB.
I was going to say, he mentioned having a replay, and we look at, in football they have replay, and I don't know if they have it in basketball or baseball. I haven't paid attention so much, but I know in football they get so many replays per game, to try to change the call. I wonder if that would really work in boxing. I don't know.
Oh, this is a good one. It could work. You know what? It could. If we can see the replays at home with the quickness, hey, I'm sure they could review. I don't know. I don't know what that would do to the flow of the sport. That's a good call because boxing, you can't really stop or the fighters get cold. All right, Bad Monkey. I'm not going to read that number. VADA testing for judges if recent decisions are anything to go by. Sanctions against judges posting ridiculous scores. 114-114 in McDonald versus Vargas was criminal. And that's some bad Vargas. We've got tons of responses. Keep them going. We love your answers. Remember, you have to use the hashtag TMPS for us to see it, and we'll continue reading them through the show.
All right, and I think we have Jake Donovan in the queue for Jake's Take.
Let me see. Jake is an international man of mystery. I think this is Jake. I didn't have a chance to see his phone number here, but in the meantime, let me pop. You can't bring in Jakey without this.
You're rocking with the Morning Punch-In Show with RB and Jae, and now it's time for Jake's Take.
Oh, man, I was getting a kick out of that intro.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good. How's your weekend, Jake?
It was very good. A fun-filled boxing weekend, so a lot to talk about. And it was fun, once again, as has been the trend for 2017, one to celebrate.
Yes, you actually kept me super informed all weekend with the fights and everything else. I had a busy weekend. But before we dive into fight recapping, the past couple weeks you kept updating us on the Crawford-Felix Diaz fight, and it finally got made. How did it finally get done?
It was just a matter of Top Rank. I think they just wanted to Bob Arum always wanted the Felix Diaz fight. It seemed like others on the Crawford side, not necessarily Terrence Crawford, because we all know he doesn't care who he fights, but they just wanted to exhaust all options, see who else would fight, maybe see if Diaz would get his asking price to go down a little bit. Top Rank kind of got cornered because they did not like Amir Imam. I know he's the WBC mandatory. It's not due yet. But Top Rank was thinking if we get the mandatory out of the way, then we could fight, maybe a unification fight down the road. HBO said, no, Amir Imam has to win a meaningful fight in order to get on their airwaves. Adrian Granados, they were never crazy about. They were willing to accept him as a last resort, but it turned out he wasn't going to be ready for May 20th. Felix Diaz was really the only realistic option. Top Rank just finally gave in. They sent the over the bout agreement. Diaz didn't hesitate to sign it, sent it back, and now we got a fight on May 20th.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Well, glad it finally got done. I mean, Diaz, I know he's really needed that big fight in that big moment, so good for him.
He does. I'm sorry, no, just one quick update. Felix Diaz will be entering training camp today. He's going to report to Joel Diaz, no relation, in Palm Springs, and he will be working with Alex Ariza for this training camp. First time working with Alex.
Is this his first time with Joel as well?
No, he's been with Joel Diaz since 2015, I believe. It's just he's fought so sporadically, nobody seemed to notice.
Oh, okay. Why Alex Ariza?
They felt like they needed a new strength and conditioning coach. I don't know if they ever really had one. They just kind of, went to, I guess whoever was the best option. But they like Alex Ariza's reputation. I'm not sure I do, but, they seem to like him. They feel like he's a good fit, especially with, I believe Alex has worked with other Joel Diaz fighters, and I think he came with Joel's blessing. So that could be a big reason why, when the strength and conditioning coach and the head trainer get along, that always makes for a good training camp.
Very true. Let's talk about some fights that happened over the weekend, Jake. Let's dive right into it. Jason Quigley versus Glenn Tapia. I actually think we all watched that fight Thursday night. I feel like Golden Boy, even though I didn't care for the matchup when it was announced, I think for people at home watching their couches and watching ESPN that night, for the casual fans, I think it ended up being two decent fights to watch. You had Randy Caballero, who went the distance with Ruiz, and then Jason Quigley ended up going the distance with Glenn Tapia.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, for fans, they got to see two prospects. Well, Randy Caballero, he's a former champ. It's hard to call him a prospect anymore. But two guys who, need to be tested if they're going to fight on this platform. They were tested. So from the fan perspective, it was, that was a good thing. From the perspective of Randy Caballero and Jason Quigley, I'm not sure that's a good thing. Both of them probably should have scored knockouts. I know Jesus Ruiz is a tough guy to crack, so, maybe we can forgive Caballero for going the distance. Quigley, if he's as good as they say, as advertised, there isn't a lot of hype about him. I like him. He has a good story, but I feel like he's still a work in progress, and my concern is we might have seen the very best of him already. I'm not sure he's a prospect that's going to develop into a true contender. He might just be one of those Shawnee Monahan types who, gets to a point where he's a ticket seller, and then just going to get him to a point where they can make some money off him and get him to a title fight. I'm not sure I see a great career arc for Jason Quigley.
I saw somebody post a picture of his hand the other day. Apparently in the second round, he either busted up or broke one of his hands. So, they're saying, well, that's why he had so much problems. But, how much more do we want to see Glenn Tapia? You said it best. I mean, Glenn Tapia, he's a good-looking guy. He still somewhat has his faculties intact. Just get out and go do something that you can, anything other than boxing. Be a trainer if you want to be involved in the sport. Teach young kids how to box, but he's just the problem with him is he's not going to be a guy who wants to fight on the prospect level and rebuild his career. He's always want to, get to that fight where if I win this fight, I'm a contender. And that's just never going to happen for the guy. I feel bad because he's a super nice guy. And, believe it or not, he's actually pretty smart. It just doesn't come across when he speaks. It always sounds like he's slurring his words and he's punchy. He's not. Man.
He's actually very intelligent, but, these type of fights, they're just not going to do any good for him long term. I really wish he could find something else to do. He could advertise. He could, just be the poster boy for Everlast or whatever product he wants to sponsor. Just get out of the game and take advantage of your good looks while you still got them.
Yeah.
All right. And another big fight happening this weekend, Jake. We have the rematch between Anthony Crolla and Jorge Linares. Crolla failed to regain the WBA lightweight title. And Linares just couldn't be stopped. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the fight. So break it down for the people in the back like me who didn't see it and what this means now for both of the combatants.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to rewind it a little bit because the thing I loved about this fight was that the aftermath represents everything that's right with the sport. Everything that went into the first fight was everything that was wrong with the sport. Jorge Linares was originally supposed to fight Dejan Zlaticanin. Eddie Hearn and Golden Boy actually sabotaged that fight because they always wanted Linares to fight Kroll in a unification fight. That was going to be a huge fight in England. So they went out of their way to make sure the fight with Zlaticanin didn't happen. Linares wound up legitimately getting injured, so it became a moot point. But I just didn't like the way the first fight developed. But the first fight turned out to be fantastic. Linares survived it. I think he realized, it was too much of a fight for him. He wanted to make it a boxing match in the rematch. And he looked like the elite fighter they've been saying, he was supposed to be for the past 10 years. I think Steve Kim was like the first one to really put Jorge Linares on the radar way back in, honestly, 2006, 2007. This is the first time we really saw that elite level fighter. I mean, he shut Anthony Crolla down. All the credit in the world to Crolla. I mean, again, a guy that, came back from, brain injury, from a cracked skull, to win a world title. And he showed all the heart in the world on Saturday night. But, Jorge Linares just made it look way too easy. And Crolla is a legit top 5 lightweight. That's how good Jorge Linares looked on Saturday night. I mean, that was a masterful boxing performance. There was a whole lot of man love for him on Twitter. I know that. There was he looked no worse than the second best lightweight in the world. If there is a better lightweight in the world, he was in the Showtime Studios in New York City watching the fight. That's Mikey Garcia. So, and that's the thing I love about this fight. Yeah. People, they kind of crap on the belts all the time, but Linares has the diamond version of the WBC title, which means he's the mandatory challenger to Mikey Garcia. So this is where the sanctioning bodies actually work in the sport's favor. Because now what has to happen is a fight between the two best lightweights in the world. And there's a whole lot of dynamics that go into that. That means not just the two best. I mean, the best, the winner becomes the world, the lineal lightweight champion. But it also means when the fight gets made, it's Oscar De La Hoya and Richard Schaefer once again working together, whether they like it or not. They are going to have to work together to make this fight made, and there's absolutely no excuse to not make the fight.
Well, so after the fight, Linares did say, I want Mikey Garcia or Lomachenko. Yep. Mikey Garcia says he wants a summer unification bout against Linares, and that was the exact point that I was going to bring up, is that if Linares and Mikey Garcia fight, well, that would mean Oscar and Richard Schaefer have to work together.
Yeah. And we've seen it in the past, even when Bob Arum and Richard Schaefer, absolutely hated each other. I mean, when there was a mandatory title fight, they got the job done. They let it go to a purse bid. They, one would try to outbid the other and then, brag about it. But the fight got made, and they don't, whoever loses the purse bid doesn't necessarily have to be at the fight. They don't have to be in each other's presence. They can sit on the opposite sides of the arena. But you saw it Saturday night. Both guys absolutely said, Linares did a dance around it. He mentioned two of the very best fighters in the world. I mean, Mikey Garcia and Vasily Lomachenko. He's telling you he wants the best fights. He doesn't want, he doesn't want another, he doesn't want a soft touch coming up next. He wants to stay at this level. Crolla was the champ. He beat him twice now. And he wants to prove he's the best lightweight in the world. He wants to prove he's one of the best fighters in the world. And a fight with Mikey Garcia, not only is that going to make that happen, but the winner of that fight becomes the front runner for Fighter of the Year for 2017.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And what I love about it, too, leading into that fight is now you have two guys who are arguably coming off the best performances of their career. Because Garcia made Zlaticanin look silly and knocked him out cold. It was a highlight reel knockout back in January. So, I mean, you can't possibly dream up any better momentum going into such a fight like this. Yeah.
I want to go back to last week. We weren't able to do our show last Monday, but the big Golovkin versus Jacobs fight weekend, me and Jay, we were in New York. A lot of controversy around the scorecards. As we know, Golovkin won a decision. The pay-per-view buys numbers came in. They were about 170K. People are saying now Golovkin was exposed. He's overrated. I mean, God, the fans are just finicky. I think people forget that he's 35. He's not 25, and he is human. And they did very strict VADA testing. And I think we got a really fair fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he won a fight against the second best middleweight in the world. I mean, most rankings had Golovkin number 1, Jacobs number 2, no worse than number 3. I mean, he won a close fight. Originally, watching the fight live, I actually had Jacobs winning. When I watched it back on HBO, I kind of questioned how I had Danny Jacobs winning that. Maybe I just got caught up in the fact that Danny did a lot better than I personally expected.
So you did have Danny winning the fight.
Originally, I had Danny Jacobs winning 115-112, and then watching it back last Saturday, I'm like, how the hell did I come up with that scorecard? I actually had Golovkin winning. I think by the opposite score. And I can see 114, 113 for Golovkin. Maybe, the best case scenario, 114, 113 Jacobs. So I'll admit I'm guilty of, maybe getting caught up and, seeing some things on fight night that just didn't happen. Because watching the replay, I was like, this is not the same fight that I watched a week ago.
I think we were more upset, Jay, with the scores being a little wide. I mean, I don't think we were throwing a tantrum about like who won. There was definitely some people in the media that were on 100 after the fight, and I mean, they were just mad. They just really thought Jacobs won. They felt that he was robbed. Fuck this sport. Fuck boxing. I mean, there was some very and it took me back to Kovalev Ward when some of the media were acting like that. And I was just like, wow. But, I think Jacobs was doing a lot of cuffing. And I also think that a lot of fighters are allowed to look like shit one night. I mean, some of our favorite fighters had off nights before. You can't be Superman every single night. And I think everybody expected Golovkin to look like Superman, and he had a regular night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll admit, like I said, I'm probably guilty of that. I just, Gennady Golovkin finally looked human. On March 18th. So, but it was still a winning performance, and he's still the best middleweight in the world. There's no dancing around that. And, we've discussed this with the media before. It's like, no matter whether or not they want to admit it, they could claim they're, objective, but everyone has an agenda. So everyone has a favorite promoter that they like to cling to, and if they're saying something, it's not necessarily their thought. It's their, they're being asked to, kind of project those thoughts, being a mouthpiece for someone else.
Right. Jake, I tweeted about what you were saying about Linares and Garcia and Oscar and Schaefer, and I'm getting a lot of people, even people from Team Garcia, saying he's not signed with Richard.
Right. They have a working relationship. He's not, exclusively a ring star promotion fighter, but his last fight was with him, and Richard Schaefer's been touting him as if he's going to build him into being the next star. But to my knowledge, I don't even know if Mikey Garcia, I know he also has a working relationship with Al Heyman. I'm not sure he has an actual anything, ink to paper with Al Heyman, but he's playing it smart. He wants to be a free agent. I mean, hey, Sugar Ray Leonard became the most popular fighter, ever. Well, at least behind Muhammad Ali, doing it that way. He just took his services to the highest bidder all the time, And Mikey Garcia may not have the popularity of Sugar Ray Leonard, but in terms of today's talent, he's one of the most talented fighters in the world. So, I think it's smart. I think every fighter should, be a free agent personally and let it all go to the highest bidder all the time. More fights to get made that way, that's for sure.
Yeah, before Golovkin Jacobs, there was a legitimate great fight. It was Chocolatito versus, I'm going to mess his name up, I'm going to just call him Soor. And, Chocolatito easily has one of the best chins in boxing, hands down. We did feel like if there was a robbery, that this was the fight to say that there was a robbery.
Absolutely. I had Chocolatito win in by at least a point I could see, maybe even a little bit wider. I was really surprised that the judges gave it to Sor Rungvisai. Again, it was a case where he looked a lot better than, maybe people expected. Everyone knew he was a tough mandatory challenger. But, Chocolatito is the, pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and they expected him to perform accordingly. He didn't, he ended up having to show massive amounts of heart. There's now 2 fights in a row where he's been in a fight of the year contender, which, again, that's something the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world is not supposed to be in. He's supposed to dominate everyone. That's what, Floyd Mayweather taught us for years, right? Fight smart, not hard. Well, but, Chocolatito is proven he's probably one of the, pound for pound, the bravest fighter in the world. I mean, this guy nearly, bled to death on Saturday night. He overcame the first knockdown of his career, but he did all that, and I still think he won, plenty of rounds to where I'm still baffled as to how Sor Rungvisai got the decision in that fight.
Well, the one thing I wanted to talk to you about before we let you go is that, again, the pay-per-view numbers came in for Golovkin Jacobs. They did about 170,000. Oscar De La Hoya right now is really throwing his weight around, and he's saying, wait a minute, we got to renegotiate this Canelo fight because, we hold all the power now. We're the big draw. We're doing the ratings. We're selling the pay-per-view buys. Canelo's the bigger star. Any word on the curb regarding that?
I'm going to say this. I'm going to give you 2 different perspectives. From a fan's perspective, of course, you absolutely want to see Gennady Golovkin and I'm sorry, 1 minute. Sorry. No problem. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. I was being interrupted.
Okay.
Gennady Golovkin. I obviously want to see Golovkin and Canelo. It's been just so long. I mean, Canelo won the lineal title in November 2015. He was supposed to fight Golovkin next. So now we've been waiting a year and a half for this fight. It's almost getting to the point where if it doesn't happen next, we're not going to care about it whether or not it happens at all. Canelo no longer has a belt, so he's no longer obligated to take the fight. And from a business perspective, I really don't blame Oscar for taking this stance. 170 isn't a bad number for, considering the budget for the show. But the thing that bothers me is this fight could have taken place in December 2016. I'm talking about Golovkin and Jacobs, of course. It could have been on HBO. Golovkin could have pulled a nice rating, and there wouldn't have been a discussion about pay-per-view. But because they decided to have it on pay-per-view, because negotiations dragged out so long, and it went up against, March Madness, the number is what it is, and now Oscar is back to having all the leverage in the world. And honestly, it feels like Golden Boy wants to have Canelo fight David Lemieux. And it's just a middle fight. There's not going to be any belt at stake. But it's going to be a fight where Canelo can, sell that fight in September. And, he's fighting a former, Golovkin opponent. If he beats him, then the discussion becomes, well, what are the pay-per-view numbers? Because when Golovkin fought Lemieux, they only did about, I think, 150,000 pay-per-view buys.
I was going to ask you, should we brace ourselves for the possibility of Canelo Lemieux? Because, Loeffler's saying that he wants Golovkin to fight again in June. And Oscar's like, hold on, you're going to jeopardize our fight because my sponsors want to start promoting this fight. And, if Golovkin gets cut or hurt or on any type of suspension, it could ruin a mega fight. And Loeffler's like, well, hold up. We waited like a goddamn year and a half for you. Right. You think we're supposed to wait again?
Yeah, again, this is something where I absolutely see both sides. Gennady Golovkin doesn't want another year where he only fights twice. I mean, that's what he sat around waiting for Canelo. He was told, when he fought Dominic Wade, he was told he couldn't take another fight until after Canelo fought Amir Khan. Canelo fought Amir Khan, he dragged Gennady in the ring, and you had the whole, I'm going to fight you, we don't fuck around in Mexico. And then, the fight never happened. Then Canelo got stuck. Gennady got stuck, getting dragged out in negotiations with Danny Jacobs. He only had 2 fights last year. He fought Dominic Wade and he fought Kell Brook. It wasn't a banner year by any stretch. He's a guy that wants to fight at least 3-4 times a year. So I don't blame them for wanting to pursue Billy Joe Saunders fight in June. The only way they shouldn't pursue that fight is if they sign a contract right now and say, if Canelo wins on May 6th, we, begin promoting our fight May 7th. And then, Gennady can say, okay, fine, I won't take another fight. If they're going to wait until after, the Chavez fight to renegotiate, I don't blame Gennady for going after the Billy Joe Saunders fight. And I will say, if Gennady takes that fight, we could absolutely expect Canelo and Lemieux in September. And then at that point, I'm going to be honest, who really cares if these two guys ever fight? Gennady can go fight Billy Joe Saunders. He can unify. He'll have all 4 belts if he wins, and he'll have his next fight will be to tie Bernard Hopkins' record for the most title defenses in the middleweight division. From Golden Boy's perspective, you kind of want to send your best middleweight after him to make sure he doesn't break Bernard Hopkins' record. Being that Bernard Hopkins is a stakeholder in Golden Boy Promotions. Yeah. So if Golden Boy, just lets Gennady do his thing, that's kind of spitting in Bernard's face. I mean, all records are made to be broken, but I can't see Bernard being too pleased with any type of approach that has Golden Boy middleweight to fight, avoiding Gennady on his path to, middleweight supremacy.
All right. Well, Jake, thank you so much for Jake's take. And let me tell you, this has become such a popular segment that when we were in New York, we had people in the media tell us, like, dude, Jake's take is awesome. Like, we love that you incorporate, media like that. So thank you so much because you do bring a lot of credibility and you always bring us the good news. So we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. We have a secret guest caller calling in before Roy Jones this morning. We'll be right back.
If you want the best, BoxStats beats the rest. BoxStats is the best boxing app for all you boxing enthusiasts and professional boxers. Perform a quick search and get all the info you want and need. BoxStats, available on the Apple App Store. Download it for free today. BoxStats, know your opponent.
All right, and we are back. We have a surprise caller in the queue, and I just love this kid. He really grew on me the past year or so. Jay, let's bring on our secret surprise caller and see who it is.
Secret caller, call it from the 443. What's your name?
Gervonta Davis.
Gervonta Davis. Hey. What's good, Tank?
Nothing, chilling on my way to the gym.
Yeah, listen, man, I've been wanting to catch up with you anyway. I saw the other day that you were talking about moving to L.A.
Yeah, I'm thinking about moving to L.A. now.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I think I'm outgrowing Baltimore. I'm getting bigger and bigger. I think that's the best move.
All right. How was it in the UK? How did they treat you out there? I know you had that big press conference, and you're going to defend your title out there.
The press conference was great. You know, they treated me well. I'm excited to fight over there. You know, I got a lot of fans after that Pedraza fight from over there, so I'm excited to see how it is.
Jumping from Baltimore to Los Angeles is a big move. You know, what was appealing here? You know, there's a lot of places that you can go with great weather. There's LA, there's Miami, there's Phoenix, there's Vegas. Why LA specifically? Are we going to start seeing you in some movies or on the big screen?
Hopefully in the just Baltimore. You know, I just lost one of my friends that I was trying to help out in the city.
Oh.
Yeah, he got killed. So I visited LA when I went to Floyd party. So I liked the LA, and I was like, I like to move there.
Yeah, it's hard not to like LA, man.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's really expensive. Phoenix is a lot cheaper, but it's hard not to love LA. The weather, the people, the whole lifestyle. It's really dope out there. But anyway, so let's talk about your big fight. You know, I didn't expect you to defend your title for the first time in the UK. I really thought you were going to bring it back to Baltimore. But I'm not even mad because I know the UK is so much bigger. There's more money out there. They love boxing more than anything out there. So on a stage like that, were you okay with that when they presented you, you know, the UK fight? Were you just about it?
When they first said it, I was a little shaky, but I think that's a good business move if I want to be that next star boxer. I think they have great solid fans over there. You know, I think that was the best business move to make for me.
Of all the things that you had a chance to participate in the UK, you know, we saw you guys have that little mix-up with O'Hara Davies out there and a little scuffle of words. Do you feel like, even though he and Floyd had a little exchange of words out there, you know, what's your impression of O'Hara Davies? Is that a possibility for you somewhere in the future?
Who is O'Hara Davies?
The that was our. Oh, good. Well, there it is.
No, I wasn't trying to be funny. I promise. That fighter, the fighter from out there.
Yes.
Oh, they said I don't know. I never heard of him. I just heard when him and Floyd got into it, and he said he fight like me. I looked at his fight. He a okay fighter, but he ain't nothing special. He just got power. I like him though. Good kid.
You funny, Gervonta. You a funny guy.
So what else do we want to talk about with Tank? I had some other things for him. So after your big fight, I know both.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Yeah, yeah.
How did y'all like the performance?
Oh, man, Tank, listen, we could be real. Me and you, we were texting after your fight that night, and I told you I was just so proud of your performance, and you really showed ring generalship, which that was my only concern with that fight. It wasn't that I didn't think you had the ability, but it was just a big stage, and I knew Pedraza had so much more experience, but you held it down. Like, you really took generalship in the ring, and, like, it was like you were the veteran. And I was just so impressed with that. Jay, what'd you think?
I thought he was amazing. It was great to see you. You know, we've had such high hopes to expect from you when we saw in the ring, and it was great to see you go out there and deliver and handle your business. You didn't just go out there and drag it along. You went out there, you outclassed, and you ended the fight like you should have. So kudos to you. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in your title defense. You did that, kid.
And you know what, Tank? I got to tell you that with everything that was going on in your life at that time, and we don't have to get into all that, but there was a lot going on in your camp and in your life, and you know, people close to you really knew what was going on. For you to go out there and be such a savage and prove yourself, we knew, like, we felt that, you know what I mean? And we were just like so happy for you. But before we let you go, after the big win, I think Baltimore honored you with like a Tank Davis Day or something out there. What happened? What they give you?
They're gonna give me a parade. They're gonna it's actually supposed to be this weekend, but they pushed it back. So they supposed to give me my own day, my own street. Give me my parade and like have all like the big people from Baltimore, come to the parade, things like that, and give me the key to the city.
Hey.
Oh yeah, well let us hold those keys. We might need to get out there in Baltimore one day.
Y'all gotta come to the field workout.
You gotta tell them the RB and J gotta come through.
Of course, I will.
Louis gotta send a jet.
Right.
I'm not there yet. We're gonna get there.
All right, Gervonta.
Okay.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. You are welcome to call in. You just call in when you feel like rocking with us. If you got some word on the curve you want to drop for us, just call us. We won't tell anybody except, everybody listening to the show and Twitter and the articles that'll get written off of it. But just tell us, and it's all good.
Okay.
All right. Take care, kids.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Why don't we take another quick commercial break? And I think we are just moments away from the man of the hour. So let's go take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
If you want the best, Box Stats beats the rest. Box Stats is the best boxing app for all you boxing enthusiasts and professional boxers. Perform a quick search and get all the info you want and need. Box Stats, available on the Apple App Store. Download it for free today. Box Stats, know your opponent.
All righty, we are back, and I think that we have the man of the hour on the queue. But before we have to give him a proper introduction. The last time RB and I had a chance to sit down with Roy Jones Jr., it was one of the greatest interviews we've ever done. But this is just a snippet of the last time we sat down with Roy Jones Jr.
All these same questions, I know, but it's all good. All of these same questions, I know. It is. If you were given 24 hours to live, what would you do? Man, if I was given 24 hours to live, I'd have sex 23 of them hours.
I'm not bad. Honest as ever. Y'all must have forgot.
The last hour, I had to take a bath and get clean so I can be clean when I go.
Okay. I know you have to run out, Roy, but
go ahead.
I had it queued up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What's that?
You got to give it to us.
Y'all must have forgot. When they stole my gold medal in South Korea and my whole career, because y'all must have forgot. The best pound for pound is mine. Hit Percy Harris with 4 hooks at one time. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the best time.
It was. We are now joined by the greatest, y'all must have forgot, Mr. Roy Jones Jr. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How y'all doing?
We're good.
That 24...
Stop to hear what a body shot. Y'all must have forgot. That's what I'm talking about.
I know that's right. That is still one of our most popular, most requested interviews. We always love to hear about your boxing commentating, but the day we dropped that on the boxing world, that just spun out of control. That was literally one of the highlights of my interviews that I've done thus far. So,
yes.
I'm so sorry, but y'all know Roy Jones Jr. is just honest and have to keep it real. So it's like that's what made me the champion that I was, because I was always an honest champion and I kept it real. I ain't have time to play games with nobody. I did it just like I wanted to do it, however I wanted to do it, whenever I wanted to do it, wherever I wanted to do it at. And that's just who I am.
I know that's right. So, we know you, the fighter, but I want to talk about your commentating, because I could honestly say, me and Jay love your commentating. When we go to fight and you're behind the desk, we're actually a little sad because we're like, man, we can't hear Roy tonight. When did you know that you were going to be so good at this? I mean, for real, sometimes we'd rather stay home and watch the fight.
Had no clue. It's always one of those things that God drops on you that you never know He has coming for you. And like I tell people all the time, you never know what God has in store for you. You just believe and you push on.
Did you go to, like, any training for this? Like,
not one single class, not one single class, not one single nothing. Once again, I just keep it real and tell the truth. If you keep it real and tell the truth, you can never lose. But you got to tell the truth with respect to the sport. And what that means is, having respect for the sport and respect for your fellow athletes, you try not to ever go in and trash anybody, because everybody who has the heart to step in that ring, you understand what it takes, and they deserve that much respect.
Talking about respect, you know, sometimes during the broadcast, I know Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, they say some things that you don't quite always agree with, and you low-key be checking them, but very respectfully, but like we see the low-key check. You know, do they sometimes get on your nerves and you look at them like, what you talking about?
Well, once again, it's because you have to have respect for the sport, and you only can have true respect for it if you've done it. If you never did it, you can't have respect for it, you know. It's like about life. People tell you, you know, you can tell people stuff. Yeah, you can tell them something if they know you've been through something. If they don't know that you've been through something, then how can you tell me? You know, how can you tell me how faithful you are and how what God has done for you if you've never been through nothing and God ain't had to do nothing for you? You can't. But when you've been through something and God has delivered you from something, now you can tell me who God is, because I believe you, because you have a testimony. So when you're not been in that ring, you don't have a ring testimony to come back and be able to tell people what it feels like, what should be happening, what shouldn't be happening. Your opinion is not as valuable as a guy who's been in there and done that.
That's right. That's right.
I can't argue with LeBron James about how it feels to play an 82-game season because I've never played one.
Right.
You know, lately, you know, shifting into something else that, you know, we sit here on the computer and we have our theories about scoring, or even when we're sitting ringside, we've been seeing a lot of discussion about judging. We just had the Chocolatito fight last week and the Triple G Jacobs fight. Do the judges, for looking at it from your perspective, you're sitting ringside and you are a fighter, are the judges getting it right and the fans just are satisfying, or fans just getting wild and not accepting how judges are scoring the fight?
No, here's what it is, okay? And I think Harold Letterman can say it better than I can, even because he also made a valuable point in talking about judges at one time. And he is a judge. But here's the problem. A lot of people have different ways of seeing things. And to give you the perfect example, you and I can read the same verse in the Bible. They can have two different meanings to them. You understand where I'm coming from? We can interpret it in two separate ways. So everybody has their way of looking at things, but sometimes we interpret things different ways. So in close rounds, one judge may like the guy that's pushing the person forward. One guy may like the guy that's boxing and moving. So if you like the guy that's boxing and moving in close rounds, you can get to him. If you like the guy who's pushing forward in the close rounds, you're going to give it to him. That means that neither one of you guys may be wrong. It's all about what you like. So it's hard for you to say that they're wrong. It's not necessarily always that they're wrong. Sometimes it's a matter of what a particular judge likes. Now, who and what qualities these judges have, we don't know all the time. We don't know that Jerry Ross likes to box or likes to fight a better. We don't know that for a fact because we never interviewed Jerry Ross like that. So what you have to do, the only way you're going to get that right is if you say, okay, and it's still going to be right because the best way to do it is do like I always ask. As soon as there's a close fight, we got to wonder who won, and they was that close. The Danny Jacobs Glocker fight was that close. Then we got to immediately say, you know what? We're cool with it, but that fight's going to go the way. Let's do it again. And it's over with. We may finish somebody, and we may not. And if we don't finish the second time, let's do another fight somewhere else first, so you might give up a break, and then let's come back and do it again.
Because do you think they should do it again?
Yeah, of course they should. The beef never got settled with Pacquiao and Marquez until Marquez finally knocked Pacquiao out. That's when the beef got settled. That's when people were really satisfied. Until then, no Marquez fan was satisfied, and the Pacquiao fans were satisfied, but they weren't happy because their man didn't completely dominate Marquez.
Mm.
So nothing got really finalized until Marquez knocked Pacquiao out, and it really still ain't finalized because Pacquiao had him out in that same fight. So they still want to see it again.
When you guys are sitting ringside commentating on the fights, are you taking notes and scoring the rounds yourself, or are you just observing it and responding on what you see?
No, I observe it, and I depend on Harold Letterman usually because I trust that he makes a pretty good judgment most of the time. I mean, he's been wrong once or twice, but not too much. I would not think he's right 95 to 97% of the time. Therefore, I depend on him to do what he does. My job is to tell you what's happening throughout each round. So I can't do that by keeping score because then I might start leaning toward the guy who on my scorecard is ahead. I don't want to do that. I want to continue to tell you what's going on round by round. You decide because you could be one of those guys too who may think, well, this guy's pressing forward, I'm going to give him that close round. Or you could be one of the guys who think, well, this guy's boxing, I'm going to give him that close round. So I can't make that determination for you. So I know since me keeping my tallies of my scorecard because my opinion may be different from your opinion because I could be the guy that likes to box more so than the guy that likes to press it forward. Or I could say that the guy that's pressing forward is being more effective than the guy that's boxing. It all depends. So there's a lot that goes on in judging a fight.
Yeah, not only was there some controversy with the judging, but I think a lot of the fans were really harsh on Golovkin, and I think that they're forgetting that he's 35. He's not 25, and he's human. And all of the great fighters, including yourself, may have had an off night here and there. Like, you can't be Superman every single night. He's human.
Hold on. When we say the fans are being hard on Golovkin, let's ease up on that, and let me tell you what goes on with that. What happens is sometimes the commentators make him sound like he's so unbeatable that they make it where it's almost unfair to him. It's not the fans. The commentators have led them into that by making them think that he's Mr. Impossible to stay in front of, and he's not. Nobody's impossible to stay in front of. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And so with them doing that, it misleads the fans to think that nobody should be able to deal with it. So what happens is when a person like Danny Jacobs is successful at doing what he needs to do to stay in front of him and he can last 12 rounds, people say, wow, he looked like crap tonight. No, he did not. It was a guy named Danny Jacobs that caused him to look like that tonight.
Yeah.
You understand me? It has nothing to do with Triple G. Triple G was his same old Triple G dynamic self. It's a guy named Danny Jacobs that caused that tonight. Everybody is not going to go in to stay down for you or succumb to you your way of fighting. Some guys are going to go in and give it everything they got to try to beat you. That's what Danny Jacobs did. So anything that was bad about Triple G's performance, that credit goes to Daniel Jacobs. Not Triple G doing bad, not Triple G being enormous stuff, not Triple G being 35 years old, but the credit goes to Daniel Jacobs. Let's be real about this. That's what our problem is. We take our issue, but we always want to place an issue on the same rumble saying, oh, he's getting old. Bull crap. He ain't getting old. He fought Danny Jacobs. If you don't believe it, put one of the other guys that he fought now and somebody that's not as good as Danny Jacobs in front of him again and watch how quick he saw him. And he'll look like he's 22 again. Not hard to figure out.
Right. See, you really just I love the way you just articulated that because I try to think of how to communicate that Triple G, if you say Triple G is human, is a realistic statement. You know, so many people say, oh, he was exposed, Danny Jacobs got robbed, but I think that was perfect how you just broke it down to us. Danny Jacobs was a great man that night in the ring. Styles make fights. Everyone's style is not compatible. And it was just, that was a great assessment that people will have to go back and play this back for people instead of saying either Triple G got exposed or Danny Jacobs got robbed. That was in a nutshell.
Quit all the excuse making. You had two great fighters in the ring that night. When two great fighters meet up, neither one of them bound to look like they're supposed to look. Yeah, some can say, well, we thought Danny got robbed. No, I didn't think Danny did enough to take Triple G's title. No, I don't think he did enough to do that. I thought he put on a hell of a fight. I thought he's still one of my favorite heroes in the world today. Not in boxing, he's my idol in the world today. I idolize him for being able to come back from defeating cancer and making the hardest fight that one of the toughest guys on the planet has ever had in his whole career. All that goes to Danny Jacobs. I respect and think more of Danny Jacobs today than I think of anybody else on this planet I can think of right now. As far as being had the will to be faithful, had the will to fight to the end, and they give all they got to do what they want to do in this world. Danny Jacobs is my new idol. He is my new inspiration. You understand me? And
I heard that.
But nothing of what goes on in that fight takes anything away from Triple G. All that's credit to Danny Jacobs. What you got to give Triple G credit for was he came and fought a guy who probably was a cruiserweight that night, and he still gave it his best effort. He didn't quit. He didn't give up. He didn't go in and complain about how big Danny was. He fought. So don't say, oh, he looks old. No, he don't. He did what he had to do to try to maintain his championship party, which is what he did, to maintain championship status, And he did that. So it's both guys had a great fight, an enormous fight, and a fight that we all should see again. Simple. Let's cut out the foolishness, quit the excuse making, quit the crowd and the whining, and let's just forgive that bad and just do it again. Simple.
Absolutely. Roy, I love how passionate you are about these fights. When you look at some of the fights that you've covered over your time at HBO, have there ever been a fight where you were ringside and you wish, damn, I wish I bought a ticket and I wasn't working tonight. I wish I could just take it in.
No, because I really enjoy articulating to the fan exactly what's going on. And I like to tell the truth and keep it real. And it's like it's hard for me sometimes because I love guys so much and I feel bad for them. And I love Bradley. I love Pacquiao, but the first time when they gave Bradley that decision over Pacquiao, that was just wrong. You feel me? No matter what race, what color, what nationality, if it's wrong, it's wrong. That fight was one where he definitely just purely got it dead wrong. That was some of that shenanigans like I got in my career. There's a difference. You understand where I'm coming from? And they did come back and Pacquiao and Bradley came in like real men and straightened it out. But to me, that first fight, they did Pacquiao wrong. Not that Bradley didn't come give it a great effort, but they did Pacquiao wrong. Simple as that. You understand where I'm coming from? Sometimes there are dead wrong situations, and I like to call a rat a rat and a dog a dog. You understand me? And in that situation, that fight was dead wrong. They got that dead wrong. Bradley did not beat Pacquiao in that first fight. And I was not commentating. I was watching, but it still made me just as angry had I been behind the microphone. Just because it was wrong. You understand me? Now, fights like the Kovalev-Ward fight, those fights are so close that they are highly controversial. Because, like I said, it all depends on what the judges like. Those fights could go either way. The Jacobs and Triple G fight, that could have gone either way because it all depends on what a judge likes. You understand me? Those fights could go either way because they're so close. You understand me?
Yeah. There's actually a couple people in the media, actually one of our good friends named Adam, where he always looks at who the judges are going to be for every fight because he knows what their trends are and he knows how they score. So I always look to him when he does his predictions because he actually goes and does research on who the judges are going to be because they do all see things a little different.
Right, and that's what everybody should do before the fight happens. Everybody should do that and take that in the court because if you know that a guy that's judging the fight is a guy that loves the guy who presses forward, then you as a fighter should have that opportunity to know that too before you go into that fight. And somebody should do research and tell you that. Because if I know I'm fighting somebody that's going to box me, yet I got judges that wants the guy to press forward, then what I'm going to do is press forward as often as I can. Because I know he's going to be moving, and the judges I got would rather see the guy going after him. Because I don't want to be boxing with him and guy lose a decision because they feel like, well, Roy didn't do nothing, and he did what he normally does, so we're going to give the fight to him. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah. So we've heard we've heard you say a couple of times that as far as your top pound for pound, we know that you like Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford, Lomachenko. Is that still your top three?
Of course it is. It ain't going to change no time soon.
Oh, man. All right, we have a quick game before we let go. It's called Spitfire. And these are fantasy matchups. We're going to give you two names, and you just got to tell us who you think would win. Off the top of your head, no breaking it down, no analyzing. We're going to give you two names, and you tell us who wins, okay?
I'll try.
Okay. Andre Ward, Golovkin.
Andre Ward.
Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua.
Lomachenko, Mikey Garcia.
Lomachenko.
Terrence Crawford, Adrian Broner.
Terrence Crawford.
Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman.
Draw.
Ooh. Kell Brook, Earl Spence.
Earl Spence.
And Kovalev, Adonis Stevenson.
Ooh, good one. Kovalev.
All right. That was good. Right. He didn't even stutter, Jay.
No flinching. Y'all must have forgot. There was going to be no flinching on that.
Y'all asked me what I thought. I ain't a person who thinks I don't make mistakes, so I could be dead wrong on every one of them. But y'all asked me what I thought, so this is what I think off the top before I get a chance to think about it and analyze it. That's what I think going in. Now, when I stop and look at it and analyze it, I might come back differently. You feel me?
Hey, I trust your judgment. Another one out there.
But listen to me. When I first heard the Jacobs Golovkin matchup, I was thinking, this should be pretty easy for Golovkin because the guy that dropped him, what's the guy name that knocked him down? The guy that knocked Jacobs down. Not the one that knocked him down. He had been knocked down and knocked out. So I'm like, well, how come he got to hit him? This should be over. But when I started thinking, I started looking at it deeper and doing my research, and I said, you know what? This fight going to be a hell of a fight because Danny Jacobs is coming to win this fight. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And Danny Jacobs is big, and Danny Jacobs is about to be a problem. And I kept on looking. I said, this is going to be a really big problem because Danny Jacobs has faced the toughest thing in life to deal with, and that's death. He defeated death, and he definitely is scared of dealing with Golovkin. This is going to be a good fight. This is a toss-up. And I started thinking that Danny Jacobs may even win it. And I still think the fight could have gone either way. So,
me too.
So, it's what it is, you know. So it's like, but it took me a minute to see that. When I first heard the fight, I thought, it's easy for Golovkin. But then when I started paying more attention and listening to and watching, I was like, whoa, this is about to be a good fight. And I thought Danny might put it. I started thinking Danny might put it, and I thought still the fight could have gone either way. So if Danny would have got the decision, I wouldn't have been mad. I wouldn't have been mad. I would have been wow. So I thought he could win because at the end, when I started looking at the facts, I started realizing he did have a great chance to win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So that fight and that fight still could have gone either way, and just as many people would be upset right now as it is because they gave it to Triple G. It could have gone either way.
You're right.
When we put this out last night that you were going to be on the show, we had a lot of people obviously hitting us up with different questions, and I picked the two that I thought were the most interesting and fun, like that I haven't heard anybody ask you before. So real quick, the first question was, in your prime when you were doing your music, which rapper did you have the best time hanging out with?
I think I probably had the best time hanging out with Tupac, because me and Tupac hung out way back in the day, and we was at a Freaknik in Atlanta, and that was the funnest time. I mean, you can't ask for no better situation than that. So that probably was my favorite person hanging out with back at that time. I had some good times, some good people. Now, me and Miska had a great time too. Me and Miska used to hang out almost every weekend, so it's unfair to put him with anybody else. But I think at one time event, me and Tupac probably had the best time because we was in the middle of where we wanted to be at that time, and you couldn't
Did you wear some fur and leather when you were hanging out with Mystical?
Nah, me and Mystical hung out all the time in my yard, so we used to hang out like every weekend.
To piggyback on the rapper question, Roy, I've always wanted to ask you this. I've seen the Fat Joe assessment of what happened when you guys ran into each other with the Chopper Style dude. What is your side of the story when you and Fat Joe ran into each other in the hallway and you was about to knock his ass out because you thought he was disrespecting you on Lean Back?
I ain't saying nothing about that. So we did that. That's so weird.
Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth.
I was crazy. Yeah, I was crazy back then. I tried to calm down, so I'm good. So, I try to become a little wiser in the way I do things now. So I'm pleading the fifth. But Fat Joe, my man. I mean, me and Fat Joe, we understood one another after that. We apologized. We talked about it like men, and we did what men should do. Men should be able to speak like men, apologize, be men about it, let's move on. We don't have the right to take life from one another. We don't have the right to do, anything like that. So we should be, we are, one of the things I say about people all the time, we have the best communicative skills on the planet of all the animals, yet we have the hardest time communicating.
Yes.
Very true.
We have the best communicative skills of all animals on this planet, yet we have the hardest time communicating with one another. Why is it?
Mm-hmm. Last question here from the fan. Would you ever consider stepping in the cage? UFC, MMA?
With a pair of boxing gloves on, yeah.
What?
I said, with a pair of boxing gloves on, yeah. But I ain't got time to be bending my knee back and messing my elbows. I don't like all that. You know what I mean? Nah, bro. Check these hands. I ain't got time on hugging and twisting up and wrapping me around the presser. I can't deal with all that.
All right. Well, Roy, before we close, one final question before we close. Yes, we know that do the people repeatedly asking you about your retirement make you want to fight that much more? Just so they'll leave you alone.
Already know it. You already know it. They ain't got to leave me alone. I like them to keep bothering me if I keep fighting. I love when they bother me because it's like in me gave me life, not people, not nobody else. So when God gave me life, God should be able to tell me when to stop. Like God should be the only one right that's allowed to take life. And he's the one that I would fear or worry about taking life. I ain't worried about nothing to nobody else. And so it's like, I hear people talk, and I love to hear them talk, but how many of them can fight like I can? None of them. So why would I listen to them? Why would I listen to them tell me what I can do and what I can't do? I mean, even the fight I just had against Bobby Gunn, I entertain you when I fight. I don't care whether win, lose, or draw. I'm still going to entertain you because my hand's still faster than 95% of theirs. I'm still smarter than 95% of them. And if you really let me go somewhere and get in shape and take my time to get right, 95% of them still can't really beat me. It's just what it is,
I know that's right. You tell them to leave. Okay, y'all heard it here. Back the hell up off Roy. He gonna do.
Yeah, y'all. Y'all must have forgot. If it weren't for Roy, y'all wouldn't know that about Method Man and Red Man bringing somebody to the ring at Radio City Music Hall. First time rap ever went in Radio City Music Hall because of Roy Jones, Method Man, Red Man, and we even had the great late Whitney Houston on the court that night. Roy did things that were never thought of being done. Y'all better y'all know he said that night.
Well, Roy, I hate to let you go. I could do this all day, but we will be in Vegas in May. Can we please sit down with you when we're in May, if you have some time, so we can do our other show, Raising a Bar, where you can just tell us some good stories. Even if they don't ever make it to broadcast, we just want to swap stories with you.
If y'all got some candy, y'all.
You already know.
Y'all got some candy. If y'all got some candy, y'all know I sit down and talk long as I eat y'all candy.
That's the best.
Hey, have some candy, and I don't mind sitting down and talking to y'all. Y'all already know.
We got you. We got you covered. Well, Roy, always a pleasure. You have a wonderful day. We always look forward to seeing you on the desk, and thanks for coming through and showing us some love this morning.
Hey, thank y'all for having me.
All right, take care. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back with the fight schedule, a little in case you missed it, and then we're gonna close it out for the day.
If you want the best, BoxStats beats the rest. BoxStats is the best boxing app for all you boxing enthusiasts and professional boxers. Perform a quick search and get all the info you want and need. BoxStats, available on the Apple App Store. Download it for free today. BoxStats, know your opponent.
Yes. How can you not love Roy Jones Jr.? He ain't holding near back. Nothing.
How do we even continue with the show after that? Like, I feel like anything we talk about now is going to just be ass. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get off with Roy after something like that and just go back to talking about regular topics.
Right.
That's why we love Roy. And I was being really honest when I told you that when me and Jay are ringside, we're like, oh, wonder what Roy is saying. Wonder what Roy's talking about tonight. We really enjoy his commentary. We really do.
He is awesome. And I did not know that he was the first boxer to ever walk to the rings with the rappers with Redman and Method Man. So, hey.
I didn't know that either.
I learned. And the great Whitney Houston in the ring. So we learned something here this morning.
Yeah. So, look, why don't we just breeze through some in case you missed it topics. We will just spit them out real quick. I'll give you a little bit of word on the curve. Jay's going to wrap up the schedule. It's almost 9 o'clock. So here we go in case you missed it. Let's see. Miguel Burchlet versus Mura deal has been reached, and I think that's going to happen June 24th in L.A., Jay, hopefully the StubHub Center.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I love the StubHub. I get cold, but I love that venue. It'll be a war.
Yeah. Jermell Charlo versus Charles Hatley has been added to the Berto versus Porter card in Brooklyn. The other Charlo, Jamal Charlo versus Heelan, has been ordered as a WBC eliminator for the mandatory for the Golovkin fight. So that's interesting.
Very.
BJ Saunders now wants to fight Golovkin, and I think that Golovkin looks so vulnerable that now everybody is like kind of willing to fight him now. So let's see if that happens.
Yeah. Make sure they hold on to their pins.
Yeah. David Benavidez versus Porky Medina in a WBC eliminator. That fight was made. And Kid Chocolate made a huge announcement over the weekend. I'm sure you missed it, but his announcement was that he is not retiring, that he has been just going through some personal issues, some personal matters. He is out with Virgil Hunter. He is training and working, and, he doesn't know when he'll be back, but that he's not retired. Darn. Darn.
Oh, well. Wait. Let me see. What do I got for that? All right.
The other, in case you missed it, so apparently Kovalev has signed the rematch agreement, and now he's waiting on Ward to sign his name on the contract. John David Jackson was on Twitter over the weekend. He has some serious doubts that Ward is even going to sign this contract. He did threaten to retire a month or two ago, so he's feeling, John David Jackson feeling real skeptical about that. Apparently, Andre Ward is still a little unhappy with some of the terms related to the rematch. I don't think we're surprised there, but he is bound to face Kovalev next. So it is either retire or rematch. Like, he can't just go and fight somebody else.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to see what happens with that.
Yeah, the target date is still June 17th in Las Vegas. So hope we caught you up there. I think that's everything for In Case You Missed It. We could dish some word on the curb, Jay?
Let's do it.
All right.
Listen.
Word on the curb. Crawford versus Felix Diaz. We broke the word on the curb that was going to be in Newark, New Jersey on May 20th. Word on the curb is that may be moving to NYC at the Madison Square Garden.
Ooh.
Julian Williams. They're looking to get him another fight. And a name that's been really thrown around is Fernando Guerrero. I didn't even know Fernando Guerrero was still fighting. And at 154, I thought he was a middleweight. But anyway, J-Rock versus Fernando Guerrero looks to be in play. There's no date. They're looking for something soon. J-Rock has been sitting out since being defeated by Charlo, and he's eager to get back into the ring. Last bit of word on the curb. Mel Charlo has left Derek James. Derek James is Earl Spence's trainer in Dallas. He has left for L.A. Word on the curb is that they canceled Love and Hip Hop Houston, and he's going to be on Love and Hip Hop L.A. So that caused him to actually pick up and move to L.A., and we believe that he's training with Ricky Funes out there. And he's been going through a little bit of a messy breakup. His ex-girlfriend has been on Instagram and blogging a lot of stuff about why they broke up, and she moved to L.A., and her blog actually insinuates that there was some domestic violence and some mental abuse going on in the relationship. So a little messy there, and I'm sure it's all going to play out on Love and Hip Hop L.A.
I guess I'll do my Love and Hip Hop tour of Los Angeles to see what's going on, because some of it might be Love and Hip Hop Inglewood. But all right, we'll see what happens.
All right, Jay, can you give us the weekend fight schedule?
I can. Let's jump into the weekend fight schedule on March 28th from Nice, California. PBC on Fox Sports 1, Toe-to-Toe Tuesday, headlined by Ludwig Barthelemy versus Reynaldo Blanco. So you can catch that one on Toe-to-Toe Tuesday. On April 1st from Las Vegas, another ESPN Golden Boy card headlined by Antonio Orozco versus Keandre Gibson. And in the co-event, Mercito Gesta versus Gilberto Gonzalez. And also part of the broadcast, Joette Gonzalez versus Derek Murray. So you can catch that on ESPN. Shout out to Golden Boy for bursting through the gate with their first card. So let's hope this is another great card. On BN Sports from Monterrey, Mexico, Cesar Juarez versus TBA. And that is it for the popular fight schedule this weekend. As you know, there's always fights all around the world. Those are the ones that we know definitively that you can watch on TV, so check those out. If you see some other fights out there with some quality streams, hit us up, and we'll watch with you.
All right, sounds good. You know, Jay, we only went about 5 minutes after the hour, so we did really, really good. Thank you, Jake Donovan, for Jake's take. Obviously, Roy Jones Jr., always a pleasure. We look forward to seeing him in May. We appreciate all of you guys for listening today. Jay, you are amazing. I can't stress it enough. Make sure you visit badculture.net, blacksportsonline.com. Catch us here every Monday morning from 8 to 9. It's the Morning Punch and Show. It's a wrap.